Welcome to another episode of On My Sports. And ladies and gentlemen, oh my God, we got a new pound for pound boxing king. Bud goes absolutely bananas. So ladies and gentlemen, y'all know what to do. Grab a drink, grab a snack, sit back, relax, and let's talk some sports. Keep it locked. Welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen, to an all-new episode of On My Sports. As always, it's your boy, John J. And with me for the first time is my one and only, my homie, 𝒏.
What's good?
𝒏.
Man, I'm here, dog. I finally got a chance to get on My Sports to talk all my shit. So now that we here, I can't wait, man. Let's just get right into it, John.
Yes, sir. Let's get to it. But before we do, ladies and gentlemen, please help me out with that algorithm, man. Help this show become #1 and drop a like, share, subscribe, and comment on this show, man. Be a part of it. Your voices will be heard, I guarantee you. But man, 𝒏, man, it's a pleasure having you, man. Ladies and gentlemen,
I'm happy to be on here.
For those of y'all that don't know, this has been another one of my homies from one of my day ones, man. We go way back. We go way back, man.
We go back to the Street Fighter days in the basement.
Man, the ultimate trash talking. You feel me? But man, y'all, ladies and gentlemen, I know y'all saw it. We've been hyping it up for the longest. 10 years plus in the making for a super fight like this. And oh my God, Bud Crawford, Errol Spence, and we saw Bud absolutely just give the business to EJ last night. Oh my goodness. Is Bud the new pound for pound king, 𝒏? Is he the best in the game?
I mean, I think last night it proved that he is the best, man. I mean, just think about it. Man, he made Errol Spence, man, the once boogeyman of the division. He made Errol Spence, this is the same man that mopped the floor with Mayweather, allegedly, in sparring. And he made him go out there and he made him look like he was not a world-class fighter, man. So, I mean, this guy, he came out there, I mean, everybody knew what was going on. Everybody knew what was at stake. And I mean, ever since the jump of that first round, Bud Crawford had control of the whole fight. Not only knocking him down in the second, but knocking him down again in the fourth, I believe. Yeah. And in the ninth, where then he ended up stopping the fight. I believe it was that.
Man, it was absolutely ridiculous. Like you said, he showed that there's levels to this. He absolutely dominated Spence at every aspect. One thing we noticed, and I was talking to another friend of both of ours, Emmanuel, right before the fight, and he had kind of mentioned what exactly happened, that Errol Spence has a hard time changing his style, and he did not change his style up. He went in expecting to use that jab to his fullest like he usually does. But once Bud nullified that jab, it was nothing that EJ could do.
That's true.
He
another thing
he couldn't adjust.
Now, another thing is, okay, Bud, he's fought plenty of southpaws. And Bud just knew how to adjust. He knows how to fight southpaws, which a lot of boxers have issues with. And even though Errol Spence is a southpaw fighter, he only fought 2 southpaws out of his 28 fights. And out of that, you know, they wasn't on that same level, the same type of technician, the same type of bruiser as Bud was. And Bud came out there, man, and he showed, hey, man, he wasn't playing no games. I knew he wasn't playing no games when he came out with Eminem, all right?
Talk about it.
He brought Eminem out the cage.
It was a movie then.
It was.
It was a movie.
And I thought that chain he should have had, it should have said Prime. It should have said Undisputed, all right? Because he came out there and he showed that nobody got nothing for him in the welterweight division. Man, can't nobody mess with that dude, man. I thought it was a 50-50 fight until last night. That rhyme. So, like, all I say is, when it comes down to my main man, Bud, dog, there's nothing else for him to do. He has nothing to prove in that division, dog. It's time for him just to go ahead and move on and go up to 154. Well, I think he is going to make what I like to call his Houston tour, all right? Because I hear that he wants to knock out one of the Charlo brothers next. Notice I said knock out one of the Charlo brothers next, because I don't think nobody messing with that now.
Yeah, there is a history. He's been going back and forth with Jermell Charlo for quite a while, and we all know Jermell. He got a mission of his own coming up in September against Canelo. But yeah, before we get that, I know EJ mentioned it last night right after the fight, but after he takes some time and ponders and licks his wounds, do you think he activates that rematch clause before Bud goes up against anybody else? And if so, will Bud take it at 154 like EJ wants?
Well, I put it like this. Bud is the A side. So now he can take the fight wherever he wants if he take it. Now, if I was in that position and I was Bud, I wouldn't take the fight. Only because, man, the fight wasn't even close last night. Errol Spence won one round, the first round, which is nothing but a fill-out round. And after that, man, he got dropped in the second. And I feel that his will was broke, man, because after you feel someone's power, that changes your whole mindset and how you're going to fight that fight. And it showed last night that I think Errol Spence, after he felt his power, not just trying to change up the fight, hey, man, I think the only time he had more trauma was in that car accident. And it showed last night.
Yeah, he looked like he was in another one. I agree with you, though. It was so lopsided. I'm sure Bud probably don't even want to take the rematch, but they do have a rematch clause, so he's going to have to take it if it gets activated. Right. And I do think it gets activated, just pride alone. Whether EJ is ready to get back in the ring against Bud, which I don't believe that he is or that he should, but pride alone. He's a meme now. He has to try to redeem himself. And pride comes before the fall. You know how they say. Man, I do believe that he's going to activate it. Even if it's just for the sake of another bag like they just got.
Well, my thing is, will it be another bag like that? How many people are actually going to tune in to really watch that fight? I mean, you have to think about it. It wasn't a close fight. It wasn't like it went 9 rounds and it was like 3 rounds to 5 going into the 9th. It wasn't a close fight at all. So with that being said, everything is about the money at the end of the day. So you have to look at it like this. Errol Spence, do you really want to do that to yourself? Because what is that going to do to his career if he come out and get knocked out again by Bud? Where does he go from there?
Yeah,
that's where does he go?
That's rough. I mean, you want to go to 154, but Bud going to probably meet you there. Staying at 147, you got he already said he can't keep making 147. He's outgrown it. It's over with there. So going up to 154, you're going to have to see Bud again.
Yeah, and that's more of his natural weight, where he wants to sit back and he wants to go to that 154 weight class. But if he do that, once again, that's up to Bud. If Bud say, hey, man, we fighting at 147 again, then if you want to activate that, he's the A side now. So you're going to have to go by what he says. If you want to do that and you already know it's hard for him to make weight and that's known, then, hey, he might put in a rehydration clause. And then you really might get beat. You might get smoked in the 2nd or 3rd round. So, really, I think Errol Spence should think about that, because on a career side, that'll put an asterisk by him where, hey, it kind of be like Tom Brady, where it's like, all right, look, you can win these Super Bowls, but anytime you play Eli Madden, he's the Tom Brady killer. And I think that's how Errol Spence really has to look at this, where it's like, all right, man, you did what you did. You were great in that division, everything else. But we all know Bud, man, he sunned you not once, but twice. And I don't care how many times these dudes fight, dog. Based off of what I seen, man, come on, dog.
I think, too, though, on the money side, this loss is already going to decrease. It's going to take Errol down a peg. I almost feel like I agree with you that the rematch would probably more than likely not be as big as this one in terms of finances, but it'll probably be the biggest check Errol will see for a while. You know, it's downhill from there, whether he fights him again or not. So it might be his only chance to get another bag that way, bag of that sort.
I think when you lose, my personal opinion, when you lose and you lose the way that Errol Spence lost, if you're going to go up to that 154 division, hey, listen, man, it's a lot of talent in that division. Go fight a couple of them guys. Get your name back right. Get people to make some people some believers again.
Build it
before
back
you
up.
just go back and fight them.
I agree.
Plus, another thing is, now, once you go and you fight them again, we have to understand, Errol, how old is Errol Spence? He got to be in his 30s.
About 33, 32, 33.
And same thing with Bud. I believe Bud is around that
35,
same age.
35.
Yeah. So my whole thing is this: get a couple fights under your belt, and then go about trying to fight him again. Hopefully, his skills will diminish a little bit, and you might have a chance of winning more than one round, but you're still gonna get beat. And believe me, I was an Errol Spence fan.
Same here.
I know you're down there in Texas, man, but at the end of the day, I think for his career, man, he should stay away. All right.
Yeah, I give credit where credit is due. And go ahead. I know you got to say something, but I just real quick, I want to give credit where credit is due. I'm a EJ fan. I was a fan of both of them, but the Bud showed a completely another level. I thought it was going to be a 50-50 fight. It was not. It was a 90-10 fight. But go ahead. I'm sorry I interrupted.
Well, no, you was absolutely right. 90-10, because, it was really more like 80-10, because it went 9 rounds and Errol Spence won 1. But I put it like this. When Wilder, when he sat up and he fought that rematch against, what's your boy, man, the Gypsy
Tyson
King.
Fury.
Yeah, when he fought against Fury, all right? And they fought that second fight. Where's he at now?
I mean, he still got a big money. He rumored to fight Anthony Joshua later in the year, and that's going to be some money on. That's a big money fight.
That's a big money fight.
But those are heavyweights, though. That's always big money fights.
Well, what I'm getting to is, after he got beat them 2 times, he disappeared. Now, I'm not saying that's not a big money fight, because that's the fight that everybody wanted to see at one point. But my point on that is, he disappeared. He lost his fan base. You haven't heard nothing from that man ever since. That's all I'm saying. So as far as I'm concerned about Errol Spence needs to redeem himself in the ring. And I understand pride might have you go out there and want to fight again. On the other side of that, I mean, you got a real chance of getting hurt out there. This is boxing, and everybody's seen what he just did to him.
Yeah.
This ain't Rocky, man. All right, he looked like Rocky when he fought Clubber Lang that first time, dog. He got the floor mopped with him.
His timing was completely thrown off. It was just embarrassing.
Man, I never thought. Think about this. Like I said at the beginning of the show, we talking about Errol Spence, man. We talking about, like I said, this guy was the boogeyman. This come on, man down. Strap season. Nobody wanted to fight him. And when you lose, that breaks your will when you lose like that. So now, man, you got to redeem yourself. I'm not saying go out there and fight bums, because one thing that I do like about what happened last night and the last fight with Tank is the fact that boxing are putting together great fights now, and they need that. And last night was a great fight.
We got more coming.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, like you said, boxing is in a great spot, and I'm excited about where it's at and where it's headed, and where Bud is headed. Do you think he's the best in boxing? I think I asked that earlier. I don't know if you answered that, but
I have no problem answering that again and just saying, yes, he is the best in boxing. All right, pound for pound, he was the best before, he's the best now, and he's going to be the best in the future. I don't think nobody can mess with that guy. Shout outs to the little man, too. You know what I mean? And that's another thing. Everybody talked about how big Errol Spence was compared to Bud. from the weigh-in and even in that fight, no, you see how big Bud was, man?
Yeah.
Like that guy, he was huge. And, it looked like a evened out fight, man. And at the end of the day, I think that when you have power, it's best for you to fight at a higher weight. And when he was the A-side, speaking of Spence, his last fight, maybe he should have fought him at 154. Now, I don't know all the details behind closed doors, but if he would have fought him at 154, maybe he had a better chance of getting knocked out in the 11th instead of the 9th. But, man, like I said, I have nothing else. I have nothing negative to say about what's my man's name, Bud, because he came out there and he did everything he said. He handled that business. I mean, this dude walked him down. His jab was like, man, it looked like Spence's legs was gone after the first knockdown in the second. So
he broke him down thoroughly every type of way.
And I believe it was like the fourth round, I believe, around the second knockdown. Right before that happened, man, Spence hit him with a good check hook. It was clean. And I think only thing that did was make my main man Bud upset. Like I said, he came out, he had on the fisherman gear because he said he was hunting the big fish. And believe me, he caught him real quick.
Yeah, it was the countering though. He saw everything Spence was getting ready to do and had two ready for him every time.
Well, that's always been Bud's MO. He always been a great counter puncher.
Yeah, very. And they was precise, targeted. He landed 50% of his total punches.
Think about that, man. 50%, and we're talking about against Errol Spence here. Once again, I keep saying that because this is Errol Spence. This is the man that I personally thought was going to win that fight. This is the person that I thought for the longest, I thought Bud was kind of avoiding. I thought he was kind of avoiding Spence. Man, all I can say, but hey, I guess we really know now. That's all I can say.
I used to tell people that Bud reminded me of the dude in the Great White Hype movie. They kept running in the ring trying to stop the fight, trying to call out the champ.
Hey, man, look, before it was all these excuses talking about, who his promotion was with Bob Arum and so on and so forth. Twitter like this, man. Big money fights now. He's out there. And I really don't know where Bud goes from here besides up. Because there's nobody in the welterweight division that's going to be able to stop that man. That's my personal opinion.
It's one fight that I love to see. I don't know if we'll get it, but I would love to see it. If
well, what you talking? Who?
Man, Jerron Boots Ennis. Boots Ennis. Somebody else that's targeted like that.
Man,
that's a fight. It's not a big money fight like the one we just saw, but that's a fight. If you're a fan of boxing, man, that's a fight.
Yeah, I put it like this, man. Once again, I just kind of put everything in that welterweight division based off of where Earl was. And I just didn't think no one had skills like Errol Spence. No one had power like Errol Spence. And I was wrong because, like I said, I don't think nobody can mess with Bud. Now, I know you're saying, what's your boy's name?
Boots Ennis.
All right. Well, all I got to know is what boot do he want stuck up his behind because he ain't messing with Crawford.
Well, I'm not saying he gonna beat him or that he can beat him, but I say that's a good fight. He's got the skill. He got something real serious. I'm a big believer in Boots.
So you really think after what he seen last night, you think he still got that same confidence of coming in there and fighting against a Crawford?
Boots, yeah. Young enough. He young and dumb enough to probably be even more cocky.
Okay, exactly. Young and dumb. I don't think he has experience in the ring. I
still think this isn't me knocking Bud. I think Bud is the best fighter in boxing right now. I think he proved that yesterday. But I think that's a good fight. I think that is a really good fight. I think this is the next chapter. Boots. I think he's the next coming.
I think that, and you're right, he's next coming, but Boots still has stuff to prove. And he's in that welterweight division where it is a lot of talent, but he has to get his stock up in order to fight.
He hasn't fought really anybody yet, but he's somebody else that seems to be the names are avoiding him.
And, last time I remember him fighting, I believe Adrian Broner, put that work in on him. It was some years ago. I understand you grow. And his talent has gotten better. My whole thing is, I just think that Boots, he still needs to get his stock up because the politics of boxing is Boots, he has everything to gain in that fight. Crawford has everything to lose. So he's not going to make that fight until he builds his stock up. And in the meantime, I personally don't think that's going to happen because Crawford is already saying he's moving up. So if he wants to move up,
it'd have to move. It'd have to happen at 154.
Absolutely. And another reason I don't think that will happen. Only reason I don't think that happened also is the fact that, like we said earlier, Crawford is 33 years old. So let's just say if this happened 3 fights down the line, let's say if he fights 1 fight per year, let's just say that. Now we're talking about that fight happening when he's 36, 37 years old.
Yeah, he's 35 now, so add a little something to that.
Well, exactly. So if he's 35 years old, then he's not going to, I can't see that fight happening when Bud is 39, So, and then even if that was to happen, then, does Boots get all the credit for that win if it happens when he's 39 years old?
Well, in the society of what have you done for me lately, absolutely he will. He will get the credit because that's just what's going to be on people's minds. No one is going to think in terms of logic of that would be toward the end of Bud's career. No one is going to think logically like that. They're going to react to what they just saw.
That's true.
Gratification.
But the whole thing also outside of that is money. So when you have certain fighters, you understand certain fighters match well. This was a big time fight because Errol Spence was the big fish. Bud was a big fish. This was something everybody wanted to see. But whenever you usually make big box office fights, it's usually black person versus Mexican. It's usually not black versus, because usually these guys have whole countries behind them.
We rarely get these,
And when you have whole countries behind you, that's usually where the big fights come in because it's more of a draw,
Yeah, I totally get it. Like I said, Boots is nowhere near the draw yet. He hasn't had the big fights. But when you're just talking about from a pure boxing standpoint, that's a matchup that I would love to see. But
well, I think Boots, I think he's saying that, and obviously that would be a nice matchup. But I think he should really set his sights on probably more like a Tank, because I believe that Tank eventually is going to move up in weight, because if you have Crawford moving up in weight, you have Errol Spence moving up in weight. I think Tank will move up in that welterweight division, and then that's where he'll make his home at, and he'll be the big fish in the welterweight division. And I think that'll be somebody that Boots should try to go after.
Yeah, well, I mean, Tank, that's 2 jumps for Tank. He got to go to 140 first, and I think
he fought 140.
He fought at 140, but he went back down to 35.
Right.
But I think he should go back up to 40, because that's where the showdown from all of the lightweights are working their way to. Teofimo moved up, Devin Haney moved up. Eventually I see Shakur and Tank moving up, and we finish in this round tree, this roulette of these, this gauntlet of these guys that we were expecting to see at the lightweight division.
And, that's again, as much as I love Floyd Mayweather, this is one of the reasons why I'm happy that he's out of boxing, because now you got the best fighting the best. And all these names that you mentioned, these guys are fighting against each other. So it's going to be no more that, hey, I got the perfect record type thing. Now you got battles out there. And I'm excited where boxing is going.
Put your records up.
Exactly. Put your records up.
Yeah,
Let's see if you really deserve these belts.
Speaking of some excitement of where boxing's going. We saw some behind the scenes excitement at the weigh-in of the Crawford Spence fight, and I hope this is a sign of where boxing is going, because it's a fight I want to see. And ladies and gentlemen, if y'all didn't pay attention, if y'all hadn't seen it, Caleb Plant ran up and just stole on Jermell Charlo. Stole on Jamal Charlo. I'm sorry, not Jamel. Jamal Charlo.
Planted one right on his face, you know?
Planted one. But one thing I got to say about Caleb Plant, he still showed zero power. Zero. Charlo did take it on the chin like a champ, but he didn't do nothing. He didn't do nothing in response to it. I was a little disappointed for Maul. Maul has not been helping his image of late.
I mean, the man, it seems like whenever these Charlo brothers are in public, they getting stolen by somebody. You know what I mean? I'm just happy they ain't crying. You know, I got nothing but respect for them two, man. I really like the twins, but man, you know, for me now, as of late, because they haven't been fighting, what they're known for is crying against Stallone. They known for crying against Snuff. You know what I'm saying? So, you know,
take it on the chin, though. That's the best thing I could say.
He did. But I put it like this, man. With the power that Plant has, I'm sure that's equivalent to, you know, me getting stolen by my 7-year-old. You know what I mean? It's like he took it on the chin because he has no power.
Just bite me? Did I just get a mosquito bite? Did something?
Was a mosquito? The mosquito just hit me? What was that? And at the end of the day, I really think Charlo can use that to his advantage, because he can sit back and be like, man, what was that? No, I took that. That wasn't even nothing for me to react on. Man, I'm not even going to sue that man because he ain't got no money, just like he ain't got no strength. You know, Charlo can really build himself up on that to really make Plant look like, you know, nothing, you know, but a Plant, you know, but at the end of the day, he still got stolen, though. You know.
Yeah, I gotta see them. I gotta see it now. Sign the papers. Now we gotta fight. Now we gotta fight.
If they get in that ring,
fight. I can't let you live that down, though. Charlo, you gotta get in the ring with him now.
You gotta do something, Charlo. Just don't cry.
I was watching an interview with Derrick James after the fact with Radio Raheem, and he was showing him the video because Derrick James hadn't seen it. Obviously, he was busy during the weigh-in.
Right.
But Derrick James had mentioned that he had saw Charlo had kind of like rubbed Plant's face like this, and he could see it building up, and he was trying to calm Plant down. He said he could tell it was coming, so he said that it was a little bit warranted because he put his hands on his face. Okay. But I gotta see it now. It has to be an official fight now. The world saw that. You're not gonna lay that down. You can't lay that down now.
I think that'll be a great tune-up fight for the Charlo twin to get out there and go ahead and work Plant over.
This is your bounce back. This is your comeback fight right here.
Absolutely.
This is the one.
Which is good for the hype, because it already started with him getting stolen, and they could build up off of that to build that fight build up, you know. And for some reason, man, no one likes these Charlo twins, man.
I love them.
Nobody.
I love them. Male more than Maul, because Male got that heart that I haven't been seeing in Maul of late. But what I will say about Maul is fighting Plant is a perfect opportunity on two levels. One, this hype train is the perfect fight to come back on. But two, it's rumored that both Charlo brothers have a signed contract to fight Canelo. So what additional better way is there to increase the hype train for a Canelo fight than to fight somebody that Canelo just fought? If you can outdo and knock Plant out and look better against Plant than Canelo did, that will increase the hype for the Canelo matchup, potentially. What you think about that?
Now, Jamal is the one that's fighting against Canelo, correct?
Male is the one that's fighting him in September. That's the one that's moving up from 154, Jamal Charlo.
So let me ask you this. Now, Jamal hasn't fought in over a year, okay?
Correct.
No tune-ups, no nothing. And he's going straight into the ring against the best. Do you think that's a good move?
I think it was one of those moves where we're not finna let this opportunity pass by.
Absolutely.
I don't think it's the best move, especially that you finna jump 2 weight classes to meet Canelo where he is his most comfortable. I worry about that. I love Jamel, but I do worry about that. And I do think Jamel's power will translate, but I don't know if the stamina will.
Right.
But yeah, you can't help but to question whether or not it was smart, but I think it was a situation where we're not about to let this walk out the door.
Absolutely. Now, I will say this, man. I will say this. It's not going to be looking good for these Houston fighters, man. The way Spence went down. Now, if Jamel goes down against Canelo, it's not going to be looking good for that camp over there, man. You know, you know, they're going to need somebody to redeem them. So I think, you know, saying Maul fighting against Plant will be, you know, something good just to kind of keeping them guys afloat, you know, because right now it's a little shaky in Houston.
But on the flip side, how much will it help if Jamal Charlo beats Plant, because Jamal Charlo doesn't train with Jamel Charlo. Jamel Charlo is in the camp with EJ under Derrick James, who now has Ryan Garcia and Anthony Joshua in the stable. So this could very quickly turn from the year of Derrick James to the year of Derrick James has a stable full of losers. It could change very quickly.
He just went from, you know, trainer of the year to, you know, hey, now we got these big fights and now we got big names fighting against your fighters. At the end of the day, it's all up to the boxer and what they do. It's only one person in that ring fighting against the other person. You know, so you can train these guys. At the end of the day, it's all about the heart and it's all about the talent and the skill of your fighter going out there, listening to you and fighting the fight that's best. Like, for example, last night, if it was me, I would have told in that corner after that second round when Spence fell, I thought he should have went to more of boxing. I thought he should have just tried to box him, step back, do something, win a couple rounds, probably try to get Bud agitated, throw him off his game a little bit, but he didn't do that. He went out there and he kind of reminded me when he fought against Robin. You know, I call him Batman and Robin, the daddy and the son, you know. I don't even remember him because he was kind of garbage to me. Exactly, Sean Porter. All right, thank you for that. But he just went out there and he fought Sean Porter's fight, you know, and he almost lost that fight because he fought Sean Porter's fight. Kind of like what you said earlier. He just switched no styles up. He went out there and he kind of fought Bud's fight. And you have to know, you have to make ring adjustments. And I didn't see none of that in Errol Spence last night. And it showed it it actually showed it at the beginning of the fight. And he was done by the ninth.
Yeah, absolutely. So man, this boxing world is crazy, man. We getting some real hype, man. Some real good fights. And moving along from this one is another good fight was just recently announced.
What you talking?
We had mentioned last week that Devin Haney had been given a deadline to announce who he would to choose who he was gonna fight between 140-pound WBC champion Regis Prograis or 135-pound Shakur Stevenson. And Devin Haney made his decision. It was announced that Devin Haney and Regis Prograis October 28th for the WBC Junior Welterweight Championship.
Now listen.
Did we just see a blatant quack 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 quack? What? What you think about this?
I think exactly what it was, man. That man is ducking, all right? Because at the end of the day, look, he still have unfinished business in the under 35 weight division, man. Because look, I don't think, my personal opinion, I don't think he beat Lomachenko. If anything, why don't you rematch him? And I personally think he's scared of Stevenson. So I'm not saying nothing against Regis. I mean, that guy, he's a good fighter, you know. I would pull my best Floyd Mayweather. I think he is a great fighter, you know. But when it comes down to the fights that you know these guys are coming at your head, You know it. Come on, man. Stevenson been stalking this guy. All at parties, trying to find his man, do what he do or whatever. And from what I hear, he did throw a contract out there with something like 75-25 or something like that. But if you're going to make a fight, then make it, because you're going to make the money up in pay-per-view. But at the end of the day, you know, because Haney is a good fighter, but he's not really a draw. So if you want to find anybody that you're going to fight against real competition. Why don't you go fight? And I'm not saying, once again, I know you're moving up, and I already know that you're going to say, man, I moved up in weight. You know, I'm fighting against a champ at 140 and all that good stuff. But you're the undisputed champ. That means that you are the man. People want to come after you. Prove it. Fight against Stevenson. You don't want to do that because you already know you're done. You're knocked out. Yeah. Fight against, give Lomachenko another shot. He's 104 years old. You shouldn't have won that fight. Fight him again. But nah, you ducking. You ducking like it's a drive-by outside. Man, no respect for him or his daddy.
Yeah, I agree. And I got another aspect I'm gonna bring to this. I will bring Haney's side into this. I will respect it, but I agree. This is a blatant. This is a duck. I don't think he wanted to see Stevenson, at least not yet. But from Haney's perspective, I will say this. Supposedly, like you said, it was a contract offered. I want to say it's something like 75-25. It was ridiculous. Right. But this was the same type of deal that Haney signed to fight Kambosos, which is what got him the undisputed titles. So in Haney's mind, I put in this work and I gave up this percentage to get these titles. If you want it as bad as I did, you can do the same.
You know,
there's something to be said about that.
It's true.
What do you think about that?
Well, I do feel he is the A side. My whole thing is this.
Just took it.
That's hard because Stevenson's a big name. So Stevenson is kind of feeling disrespected by the 25-75 offer. Not to mention, if you take a 25-75 offer, who knows what else they're going to throw into that clause in order to make it hard for you to win that fight. You know, so with you being the A side, you do have all the power. So like you said, I give Haney, I give him that. But
yeah, I give him that. And I will also say, because, you know, I've been a fan of these guys for years. And Haney has been saying for a very long time that it is impossible, almost impossible for him to keep making that weight. And he's also trying to petition the WBC to keep his belt so he can come back and fight again. That's another question. Because in my opinion, I think that the rule is the rule. If you didn't fight him, you got to drop.
Give it up. And because that's his next mandatory.
Yeah.
So if not, then let's say, look, go to the table. What makes things more suitable from you? All right, 60-40, no deal. All right, we'll do 35-65. All right. If you want to do anything, do 60-40 and then say, hey, I get most of the pay-per-view money, you know, but make the fight happen because that's what the fans want to see. And once again, that's not taking nothing away from Portis. He is a great fighter, but at the end, he's a good fighter. But at the end of the day, that's not what the fans want to see. And I'm just a fan. You know what I mean? So if I'm a fan and I know what I want to see, I know what I pay for, at the end of the day, is you want the money. So go out there, prove your skills.
I agree. I think if Haney really wanted to move up to 140, I think what would have been a big money fight that the people would have loved to see, and it was a rivalry that had also been building for years, is him and Teofimo. He could have fought Teofimo Lopez at 140 pounds. Teofimo got a belt. Yep. And that's a rivalry that we've been wanting to see. Both of these guys came from the 135-pound division. These are names, and then you got two nationalities. You're gonna bring both sides of the coin to the table. That would have been a big money fight. And people might excuse you ducking Shakur to take the TO fight because it still would have been a fight
you get a pass
we're down for. Yeah.
Yeah, you get a pass for that because Teofimo is a dog. He's a dog. So I would love to see that fight, you know, but there is a difference between somebody when you're more a boxer like Haney. You really don't want to have somebody that's going to constantly come at you. Dog, Teofimo is a bull. He going to constantly come at you. And dog, he don't care what you hit him with. Man, you seen his face in some of them fights, man? Dog, he don't care what you hit him with. He's going to keep coming at you, all right? The Mexican fighters are some of them guys are just different, bro. And I think Haney knows that. I think his daddy knows that. And I think they ducking the main talent in all these divisions. And he's going with the fights that he knows that he has a probable chance of winning that he can justify. So you can say, hey, man, up on Regis, he's been a 140-pound champion for X amount of time. And look, that's not a bad name to have on your resume of fighters that you won. It's just the timing of it. Yeah. Go out here, beat the guys that's coming at you. You know what I mean? Because these guys coming at you they ain't bums. So go ahead, knock these dudes out, and then go on and you fight. Come on, man, fighting Porter. Who you gonna fight next then? AB? Come on, man.
For real.
Fight the names out there. Give us what we want to see. And I know why he ain't gonna take that fight. All right, he's seen what comes out of that camp last night. All right, and he's seen the way Earl got the floor mopped with him. And hey, yes. Stevenson, he trains and spars and everything against the best, which is Bud. So I don't know, man. I just think that them are monsters. Everybody know what Stevenson have and what he brings to the table, and I think he's ducking it. You know, but. On the smart side, now I know I just knocked him with everything, but on the smart side of that, if he fights at 140 pounds, you know, one of the good things that I do say about what it is that Haney is doing, I really feel that what he's going to do, he's going to beat Portis or he's going to fight Portis. And after the win of that fight, I think what he wants to do is call out Tank. And I think he's going to try to catch Tank either at 140 or going back down to 135. And I think then he's going to try to fight Tank. Now, everybody know that that's where the money is. And I think he's going to go after that bag.
Yeah, I do think Tank is in his sights, but I wonder, does he do Tank the same way he does Shakur? Is he just trying to put them against each other and fight the last man standing? And just reap all the benefits of climbing the mountaintop the easy way. But I digress. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, what more can I say? The world of boxing is at an all-time high right now. And hey, this, you know, sometimes things like this happens in the world of entertainment, you know. But I certainly appreciate having my main man 𝑐𝒏 and his cheesehead internet service provider with us for this episode. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you liked what you heard, please go ahead and drop us a like, share, subscribe, and comment on this show, man. And next week, we got everything for you. We got hoops, we got football, we got boxing. It's On My Sports, man. I appreciate y'all for stopping by. But from the On My Sports podcast, ladies and gentlemen, love you, appreciate you, and hope you have a great week.